My mother-in-law actually, when she harvested one of them, it just split as she was holding it. And so, what do you do? Hey, what's up everybody? John here, and it's another Saturday in the garden, and we've got an update here. Just gonna give a short update. We got some work to do today, and so we'll get to that afterwards. But so real quick, our cabbages. I've been excited about the cabbages for ever since we planted them, and we had some marked out. I think I said last week that we were going to harvest and then harvest some more week after, and then another week. But we started having a problem. They started to split, and so now all the cabbages have been harvested, and we had a family meeting last night about what to do with all the cabbages. So they're going to get processed here in a very near future. My mother-in-law actually, when she harvested one of them, it just split as she was holding it. And so what do you do? So we're going to make more slaw. We're looking at maybe doing some sauerkraut. We're not exactly sure 100% what's going to happen, but rest assured, we're going to have some processed cabbage soon. So also, we're going to be putting down, I think, some fertilizer today. We're actually going to take up all the vegetation out of the old cabbage bed now, and we're going to rework the soil and prepare it, because we're going to be planting beets. I don't even know if I've ever eaten a beet, so more to come. Yeah, so we got a lot of beans that are growing. We have picked some tomatoes. We still have just a ton of cucumbers that are coming on and that we are harvesting. What else? Still dealing with blossom end rot on a couple of tomato plants. I don't know. We got stuff going on. We got some frustrations. We got some things to rejoice about. So let's go take a look. All right, looky here. Green beans, and they are really starting to put on a bunch. I pulled back leaves yesterday. All right, yeah, well, so I got interrupted, got a phone call. I should have turned my phone off, but anyway, yeah, so as thick as these are growing underneath here now, on the other side, I pulled back leaves like this, and there was just a handful of the green beans, and I think I squealed like a little girl. Kelly laughed at me. So anyway, let's move along. All right, so as you see here, Kelly is actually starting to pull the cabbage plants, the cabbage leaves, out of the ground. If you remember, that cabbage right there is the one that got eaten by the worm, and it actually put on a whole bunch of small tiny heads, and so most of those got cut off. But you look here, all those cabbages have been taken. And one interesting thing right here, I don't know if you can see right there, I hope it shows up. After we harvested the first few cabbages, we actually cut them at a certain way to leave the big leaves underneath them. So it's kind of an experiment to let the growth continue, because Kelly saw where if you cut the cabbage above the leaves, it will put on tiny heads and continue to produce. And so we're trying that, but because we're going to redo this bed, we're actually going to leave our other cabbages, other cabbage bed, half a bed like these, and see if they actually do produce tiny heads. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay, and so yeah, once again our cucumbers are doing incredibly good. I don't know how many now that we have picked off of our burpless, but it's like 9 or 10 probably. And we actually have given a couple away just because there's not enough of us that eat them, and they are so big. So if you watched last week's video, at the second half of it, we actually put on there our canning of bread and butter pickles, and they all 50 pickles, not 50 pickles, 50 cucumbers came off of these vines here, and we're about to half that number already just since then. So coming up hopefully soon, we'll be making some dill. Our potato plants are finally starting to wither and dry up and die. It won't be too long, and so we actually are scheduling to try to harvest any potatoes in about 2 weeks or so. We've dug down just to see if there are potatoes present, and we're really not seeing them, but that doesn't mean they're not there, or it could just be going to be a small harvest. Yeah, we'll see. Last week, Kelly harvested pretty much all of our lettuce, but we actually have had some continue to grow and actually grow out of the side of the cutoff stalk. So I don't know if it's going to be edible, but I think it's cool that it just kept growing. And our zucchini, it's crazy. This plant looks real healthy after all of the trauma and damage that was done by the boar that was in it and us cutting into it to try to get the boar out. So I don't know if it's going to produce any fruit, but there are either there is a blossom now or there will be soon. So I don't know, we'll see. It might still produce, but our squash over here, it had some of the same damage and trauma. Check out that bloom. It actually has a tiny squash on it. Hopefully it got pollinated so that it grows. Over here we actually do have a squash, and so it looks healthy, like it's growing. Our jalapenos looking good. Harvested a few of them just a couple days ago, and I made omelets this morning, and I cut up one of the jalapenos into a few slices and put in my omelet, and had a nice little bite to it, so I'm liking it. And like I said, we're having some issues still. I mean, it's just kind of an ongoing frustration with some of the tomato plants that throughout the season they've been up and down and good and bad. They looked good, they looked not so good. They've had blossom end rot, they don't have blossom end rot. So I don't know if we water too much, we water too little, it's been hot, it's not been hot enough. I don't know, but plants are still alive, so that's good. Oh boy, cantaloupe, cantaloupe, cantaloupe. Look how big that has gotten just from a few weeks ago, whenever there was about a hand size patch, to that right there. That is pretty awesome. Flowers everywhere. I think we even might have seen where one or two might be starting to form. So let's pray that it continues to grow and that cantaloupe will just start to show up. And we have actually been harvesting some of the cherry tomatoes and the grape tomatoes, and they've been pretty good. So gonna have a few more here in a few days. We have harvested a few of the larger beefsteaks because they started blushing and turning red, which seemed like it took forever, but it happened. So I know we've got one downstairs that we need to slice up. Strawberry's still doing good, looking good. Now this is our other cabbage bed that I was talking about. Here's a better shot. See that growth right in there? That's what we assume are going to become tiny heads of cabbage. And then in the same bed, this is the second round of zucchini squash that Kelly planted, and they really are looking pretty good, pretty healthy, have grown up rather quickly, so hopefully they are going to produce. Hello, little bee. We love seeing bees inside the flowers. All right, yeah, so that bee was in a blossom for the spaghetti squash, and on the other side of the bed where I was showing you, there's no fruit yet, but the blossoms are being pollinated. But on this end, you can see yellow smatterings through because we got more blossoms. But whenever we dig down in, there is a spaghetti squash. Kelly's gonna show us. Oh, I was started in the wrong spot. Okay, there's one. There's two. Three. And four. That is really starting to get big, so yeah, that's exciting. We're going to be having some spaghetti squash harvestable before too awful long. So if you've never had spaghetti squash and you want an alternative to actual spaghetti noodles, spaghetti squash is great because it acts just the same. It cuts down on a bunch of calories that the noodles will have. No carb. Make your sauce, add it to the spaghetti squash, and eat it just like spaghetti. All right, so here a few weeks ago, like I said, we took out all the rest of the onions we had in the bed over here, and we dried them out. I showed that in another video, and I actually put a couple of those onions in our omelet this morning. It was really good. Kelly cooked with them night before sometime, and it was good. So let me show you our other onions in our tall beds. So we have nice looking tops to our onions. It took a while, but look at them. They actually look like onions. And then over here, they are even bigger and better. So we are going to have another onion harvest. We'll have another onion harvest, and we'll let you know how they are. So that is the quick garden update for today. I'm gonna get some footage of us actually doing some of the work in the garden today. Guys, stay tuned, keep watching. I'll be back here in a few minutes to wrap it up. All right, we're going to clean out this bed here and get it ready to plant some beets here in a little while.
Here, you want to do work, baby?
All right, so we got all the straw up out of the bed, and we're gonna take the straw and the cabbage leaves out for the critters. I'm fat, y'all. While I took stuff out to the edge of the woods for the deer, Kelly's been over here raking up, and she's preparing the soil here just with, I don't know, mixing in whatever's there already.
We were just making it, like, loosening it up, and the little bits of straw that were left, and we had some eggshells that we put around the cabbage to help protect against the worms. So we're just mixing it, breaking the soil up basically is what we're doing. But we are going to add more soil to this bed to fill it up more before we plant our beets. So that's the next step after we get done raking.
Yeah, so after Kelly gets finished raking the soil there, we're going to get started getting some dirt from our pile and putting it in here to fill it up a little better. And well, let me show you one thing real quick. I said that we had harvested all of our cabbages. We're actually going to leave this one here, at least for the time being. It's got a little bit of cabbage, and so I don't know if it is going to be picked or harvested today or in a while, but we'll make that decision later. Right now, we're going to leave it set as it is. We're going to get some dirt. We're going to just prepare this bed for the beets. Okay, so we got the dirt in here, and we're actually going to get some manure, and we're going to mix into it, kind of make it more fertile. So anyway, we'll probably go pick that up later today. And yeah, we still got a few other things left to do in the garden. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we got our cow poop. Well, we had to go to run some errands, go to a couple of stores. We had to go to a farm center or a garden center, and we actually called and ordered some tomatoes, 100 pounds of tomatoes that we figured we would get sometime in the next week or two. And so Kelly called them today, and then they called us back and they said, hey, truck's gonna be here today. You want your tomatoes? And so we made a quick run, grabbed 100 pounds of tomatoes, and got those back. We're gonna process those. That probably is going to be a separate video all by itself. We got some cow manure compost, and I am about to take care of the compost, mixing it into the bed that we just reworked, so that we can plant our beets whenever those seeds come in. So I'm gonna get busy. So we are using timberline soil, cow manure, and compost. 40-pound bags. We got 4 of them. So we're just gonna mix it in with our soil here, and hopefully it will be rich and hardy, and the beets will thrive. Okay, there you go. I got the manure mixed in. I just laid it over the top, turned it over with a shovel, and then I spread it out smooth with the rake. So there you have it. Now we're ready to plant some beets whenever we get them in. So, and finishing out the day, Kelly is fertilizing our tomatoes and probably some of our other stuff. And this day has turned longer than normal, but that's okay. And it's because we had to get out and run the errands and get the compost, manure, and the tomatoes. And so anyway, I'm gonna finish up here so I can get the video edited and get it out. Like I said, probably will make a separate video for all of the 100 pounds of tomatoes that we're going to process, so that later on we can use those and make some tomato sauce and whatnot. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you're not yet subscribed, do that and ring the bell for notifications so you know when new content comes out. And I will see you guys on the next video.